Dear Pisces, thank you for coming back. If you're a returning subscriber, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy the reading. So for this month, the bottom of the deck, Scorpio, I transform. There's certainly elements of it appearing throughout your chart. Elements of this are running through, so it's kind of popping up all over. But it is exactly what it says, I transform. So somewhere along the line, you're having to do some deep self-analysis at this time. So it's a testing time in certain aspects. It's coming out in some of your houses here. So it's a testing time. You may feel a little bit alone, like you're pioneering through stuff. You're actually sort of wading through various things. But it really is about what you really want. Scorpio is all about desire. So what do you really want? Some deep self-analysis is required there to actually put a name to it, what it is, how you want it, when you want it, what it is you want really deeply in yourself. And then sort of going after it and doing whatever you can, transforming whatever you can in your life currently to achieve that or to put yourself in that path. Your finances this month, just be careful with that. You've got some good financial benefits coming in for you. Be careful with that you utilize them as best as possible to assist yourself. There could also be resurrection of some kind going on, because this is a regenerative, resurrective energy. Something from something old, a new thing comes out of that old thing. So something could be resurrected for you at this time. Okay, so let's start then with the first house. We have your destiny. So now just to give you a bit of background for this month, with this energy coming in, it's affecting a number of houses. You've got some major cards in these. Your 12th house, which is the house of the unconscious. The first house, which is your house of self. And then you've got the 4th house, which is your home and family. And then you've got the 9th house, which is the house of international travel, long distance travel, and also legal things, also learning, any form of learning that you're undertaking at this time, or any kind of sort of expressing yourself in the public arena in some way. It's quite a broad house, the 9th house, and we will get to that and we'll sort of discuss it. Religion and belief systems also come up. So let's see now with the first house. This is everything to do with yourself, your physical body, your vitality, your life force, how you're projecting yourself at this time, how your personal independence, how you're making your way through the world at this time, your daily interactions, your attitudes, and how you're moving forward. So this kind of is setting your intention for the day and where you want to be, and so on. It's also how other people perceive you at this time or at any time. So this is your appearance, how you're coming across to them. It's also your characteristics and your personality. So this is how you're coming across to others at this time. With it's also all your self-oriented interests, anything to do with yourself, whether it's a physical regime you're busy with, or something that you're busy toiling away doing, or some goal that you're working towards. With your destiny, this is a testing card. It's also a destiny card. So what's it saying to you at the moment is you need to stay focused on your journey right now, your own path. Okay, you need to be consulting, doing this deep self-analysis, which I already mentioned. This is, you consulting your inner GPS about how you're going to do things, because you already know the answers. Actually, your inner GPS, your inner knowing has got it already. So it's just a case of taking the time to actually consult your inner self and then navigating from there. You may feel that you have no support at this time. You may feel very different to others. You may have a completely different agenda to other people. You could be feeling even like a black sheep in some ways, just different, out of step with others. But that is appropriate at this time, because that will force you to go inward and find your own truth about things. You won't necessarily need other people's advice and support, because you can actually solve it and get on yourself. You're going to be working on your purpose at this time. Fate is at work, so you won't be able to force things. You really just have to trust that all will work out as it's supposed to. You need to possibly work on your own or in privacy. and to pull that information out of yourself. There's going to be restriction and stress around you. Just cut out what is not serving you at this time, what is not working for you. Just cut it out, deal with it, and move on. You have the potential to achieve your goals right now, but you will be needing to make a few sacrifices along the way, and patience is required, also adaptability. So you need to be adaptable to what's coming at you every day. And you also need to deal with any health issues which are plaguing you at this time or that are surfacing at this time. Deal with them, because that's also going to help you to be more confident with what it is you're trying to achieve right now. Then in the second house, this is your house of income. So your money, how it's coming in. It's also the house of your self-worth, and it's the house of your value systems. So what you value in yourself, what you value in others, and your possessions, what your ownership, what you actually own. So this can cover real estate, any kind of possession. Property comes in with this house as well. So money, general money, income, however that's coming in for you. So now with the Jupiter Abundance, lovely card coming in, this is bringing in abundance in some form to you. So it more than likely is some monetary benefit, but it will allow you to be expanding, to expand in some way, because that's what Jupiter does. It expands everything it touches. So a change of fortune is indicated. Obstacles that you have faced previously will be lifted. You'll have some kind of respite or relief. So possibly things that you've been really grappling with up until now will be sort of resolved, and you'll have that respite and that relief. You could also just be finding meaning and purpose at this time, whether this is with your self-worth or with your values. Finding your meaning and your purpose. You're going to be feeling stronger. There's also lots of feelings of generosity that come with this card. You could be receiving the generosity, or you could be giving it out. But it's a very beneficial card. It's a very happy card. It brings good luck, and also divine help, some kind of divine intervention or divine assistance. So this card is known as the Kingmaker as well. So with this card, the other side of it, and because it's falling in your monetary house, it does kind of have an impact, is that you can fall prey to excess or overspending or overindulgence of some kind. Okay, so whether this affects your weight, which therefore affects your self-worth, or whether it's purchasing things that are just too much, over the top, not necessary at this time. So just be aware of that. Use your income to the best of your ability, and for good purpose, and to lift you up in whatever way is appropriate for you. Then in the third house, another lovely card. Third house is your house of your communication, all forms. So written, verbal, body language, how you express yourself, whether it's online or physically. It can also be to people around you in your workplace or just in general, but it can also be a wider audience and the public as well. So it could be online or physically, like making speeches and actually conducting sessions with large audiences. It can be that as well. So it can also be interactions, communications with certain people in your family. So this is relatives in general, aunts, uncles, cousins, and siblings come in. It can also be to do with neighbors and your local environment. It's also the house of documents, and contracts are governed by the third house. So all of that, because it's written, right? It's also the house of short trips and journeys. This is local trips around and about. So with this is really about your wonderful talents and abilities, your even hidden talents and abilities that you perhaps have not harnessed at this time. They may be surfacing right now. Everything's karmic with this card, everything. So it's things rising to the surface. It's you moving onto your path in some way. So this is you expressing your talents and abilities, and even discovering the ones that you didn't know about. It's about exploring ideas. It's about destiny. Destiny is at work. It's also somehow you will arrive at a place of your highest good. So somehow through your interactions or through something that you undertake, you will arrive at a place of your highest good. It's about expansion and opportunities. This is your north. where you're headed and where you can make the most impact in your future. So this is the door opening to your future. Changes and shifts will occur. Swift, there will be swift changes and shifts, but they will be for the better. So whatever goes on initially, eventually it will smooth out and you will start to see the benefits of where you're headed. It's about optimism. Pot of gold is kind of this as well. It's also that you will be meeting soul family members. So these are people that you have deep connections with. You just instantly know them somehow deeply, and they're there to support you, and they're going to assist you in some way, shape, or form, and you will bond with them, which will be very, very helpful. But this is all contacts that you've built up over lifetimes, or even if you don't believe in past lifetimes, and this is good karma that you've built up now in over your lifetime. Then in the fourth house, we have void of course moon missing. So fourth house is the house of your home and your family. So your home is your physical home, the actual structure where you're currently residing. It's also the atmosphere in the home and the people in your home. And it's also your relationship to your roots, your foundation, your family, your ancestry, your ethnic identity. Some people have quite a difficult relationship with that. Others have a very good one. Some are creating new ones. So it's all about that. So now this is apart from the card in your first house, which is everything to do with yourself. This is the next bump that's coming in. This is to do with your home and your family. These are all connected. So I feel with the deep internal changes that you are making, it's going to affect how you're expressing yourself daily, but it's also going to affect you in this arena as well. So it's possibly to do with family issues, that something is coming in for you. What this card is saying is that you need to just stay as you are for now. Because a void of course moon, when it's changing from one sign to another, it goes through a quiet patch where it's just you lose the light of the moon. So it goes quiet. So things are not quite as they seem, really. So you don't have that insight of the moon. It's not a very long period, probably about a week or so. So just see how the energies are moving out, playing out for you. But just stay as you are for now. Let any storms that are occurring pass over and resolve themselves. So take no action at this time. Be patient and let matters settle. So don't undertake anything new or untried at this time. This is a time to sleep, to rest, to dream, to plan, and to meditate about what you're going to do. It's very much a pause period, just to gather yourself and prepare for forward action when the energies shift. The reason why it's saying is don't introduce new things or go for untried things is because they may tend to go wrong, or they just won't work, or you'll get mixed results or not the result you want. Okay, so it's misguided, really. Just stay as you are and let the energy settle, and then once it's better, then you can move forward. Then in the fifth house, we have water element sensing. Fifth house is your house of your personal creativity. All of us use creativity every day in everything. It's not necessarily artistic ability. It's your creative feelings and the way you look at things, the way you project yourself, the way you do things. So it's all about your creativity. It's also about children. So whether these are your children or children that you are associated with, and everything around children, even having children, conception, and so on. It's also the house of love affairs, if that's appropriate for you. And it's also the house of all forms of pleasurable recreational activities. So pleasurable activities, that's where the love affair comes in as well, all those lovely heady relationship things that go on. And it's also any kind of recreational activity, fun recreational activities where you get stuck in and you use that to lift yourself up. It could be sports. It could be knitting, whatever turns it on for you, whatever is appropriate for you. So now with water element sensing, this is saying to you that you need to trust your feelings right now and just go with the flow. So keep your boundaries in place. Don't be taken advantage of at this time while you're quiet, because this is a kind of a low energy phase. It's a quiet phase. Again, you're gathering resources and energy for when you need to move forward on something. So this is a gathering phase. It's a quiet phase. It's an introspective phase. Again, a lot of self-analysis going on. You're doing a lot of inner work. if it's not you, then it could be your children that are displaying this. So, you'll have to just see how that works out for you. But it's also a time to retreat and just possibly work alone or in privacy, which keeps coming up. It's also a time to access your imagination. It is a time, if you are artistic, to be pursuing artistic pursuits, or just something you want to do, whether it's making pottery or any kind of pursuit that is going to be good for you, any kind of activity which is harnessing your artistic abilities or your imaginative abilities. It's also about music and writing. All of these things are indicated with this card. It's harnessing that. You've got very good connection to the divine at this time. You may be getting downloads right now. It's a pause period before forward motion. So you may have a bit of low energy, not be really wanting to interact too much at this time with others. It could also be that you're visiting bodies of water at this time. So that could be a lake or a river or the ocean. Just something like that could come in at this time. So a recreational activity which involves that, or where you go to a water body and you do activities around or on it or in it. All of that could come in for you, and it's a very appropriate time for you to be doing that. Then in the 6th house, we have Mars force. 6th house is your house of work, workplace, work colleagues. It's also your work routines and mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do. So it's also the house of health and diet and lifestyle associated with that, and it's the house of pets. So now with Mars force coming in, you may have to confront, defend, or face a challenge of some kind in this house. So as I said, it could be a health issue, or it could be a work issue. Perhaps, if you've got somebody who's very domineering or overbearing in your workplace, almost like bullying, you may have to confront them and deal with that. You may have to protect your interests at this time. So this is what you've been working on or what you've been doing. Just protect your interests right now and don't let somebody else take credit for what you've been working on. It's also about feeling driven to achieve certain things. So this is the card saying to you, now is the time to pursue your goals vigorously. All right. So with all this other introspective energy that's going on, at some point this is going to be triggered for you. You're going to get the go ahead to pursue your goals, but it's with vigor. It's a fire has been lit, and now you get the go ahead. It's also a seek and claim energy. So seek something and claim it. It could also be that you need to get more physically active at this time, or you will be getting more physically active. Sports, games, anything to do with that may come in. It also could be playing out in so the law in the military is indicated with this card. So, that may come in for you from a working point of view, or you're interacting with people from that background. It may be a career choice for you or something that you're busy with. This card is also about possibly giving you the energy to overcome or to take on a health challenge of some kind. And that may be coming up because something comes up in your 12th house later. So this is something that you need to do and you want to do, and you're basically freeing up energy with all this other introspective work that you're doing. You're basically freeing up energy to tackle certain issues in this house. When you talk about actual health and a diet, this card may bring in the tendency to rush around, or overheating, rashes, that kind of thing, high blood pressure, any kind of blood things. Also iron, perhaps your iron levels are low, or you need to address that in some way, or you're burning through it because of activities. Any form of stress will burn through your iron as well. So perhaps take a course of iron just to give yourself a boost to tackle various issues and give you the drive and the energy to tackle whatever it is that is challenging you in this house. Then in the 7th house, we have Jupiter return benefits. Lovely card. So 7th house is your house of personal one-on-one relationships. So this is a personal love relationship. So this is a committed partnership. So this is more like a marriage or some deeper commitment. It's not a love affair. This is a more committed partnership or marriage. It can be a business partnership as well, or it could be some other close significant one-on-one relationship which you're involved with at this time. So with Jupiter return benefits, I feel that this is the return of a lover or someone really significant from the past. It could also be something from the past coming in to your relationship house. This house also covers the lower courts and legal issues as well. But I feel it could very well be the return of a lover, because Jupiter is like that. It's very abundant. This, when it's a return, in Jupiter's case, it's from sort of 10 to 12 years ago. Something that fell away or didn't work or was shelved or kind of died and just kind of fell away, or it just got put on the back burner or just kind of ended. Something may come back from that and bear fruit for you. So something comes back with benefits from that. So that may come in on this house. It could also be that you're interacting with a new love. So that's regeneration of new love feelings for somebody. But this is a deeper commitment because it's the 7th house, right? So it could be other partners, but I feel it's a more significant other that's coming in. If there are more than one coming at you at this time, you may need to use discernment about which one is the right one for you, which person is the right person for you. But more than likely it is someone from the past or has some kind of past connection for you. But it's a committed partnership, this. It could also be that if you are already in a partnership, then it's the return possibly of those lovely, joyful, happy feelings, the return of romance, the return of positivity, living in the moment, openness, and freedom as well, because Jupiter brings freedom. So it could be freedom from past issues which now don't bother you in your relationship anymore, or you've come to some kind of situation where the two of you are now moving together forward in a very joyful way. So something has been addressed. So it could be sort of hearkening back to earlier days in a relationship, and it's that return of that positivity coming in for you as well. But it's a very joyful, happy, contented card. There's harmony. It could also be with Jupiter, sometimes you can go overboard as well. So there could be overindulgence in whatever way is appropriate for you. So there could be overindulgence. So just watch that. It did come up before in your 2nd house, which is your money house, or it could affect your self-worth, which could be weight. You may be putting on weight because you're enjoying yourself so much, so by all means enjoy, relax and have fun and all of that, but just keep an eye on that as well, the overindulgence side of it. Then following on from that, we have the 8th house. The 8th house is the nuts and bolts of the merging of two into a relationship. So this is the merging of the emotional and material resources. It's also this can be a business partnership, as I said. So it's the merging of that, all your things, all their things, and bringing them together. And when it's, like I said, this seems to me to be more of a love interest, and certainly it's echoed here again in the Leo card, which is all about romance and joy and all of those pleasurable activities. So it could be that you are now cementing something in this relationship. You're now going the final step and really merging your resources. So it's also the house, it's a powerful house, the 8th house. It covers all issues to do with sex, anything to do with sex, the deeper sexual commitment between people, between partners. But it also can be you interacting as a singledom, in a singledom way, but, too much sex, too little sex, or no sex, however. It's all of those issues. It's also about death, which is usually symbolic, but it's also about birth. So this is the birth of something from old. So something coming from old. There are power and control issues in this house as well, endings and beginnings. But with the Leo card coming in, it's a very positive card to be having in this house. So it's pleasurable activities, spontaneity, romance, and if it's a business partnership that you're entering, it's all about making big plans. You may also be spending money again. So this is coming up again, because this is also the finance house. The 8th house is the house of big finance. So investments, insurances, taxes, banking, accounting, inheritances and legacies also come in. So if you are having somebody passing away in your family circle, which could very well happen, and then you're now dealing with the legacies and the inheritance of it, or it could be somebody is bequeathing something to you, and you're now benefiting from that, and that could affect your monetary house, your income, and it affects your bigger income. It affects your home. There's various aspects that it may come in for you, but it's about, if none of that is affecting you, then it's also about being original, your original self, using your individuality. So you could be also receiving appreciation from others, because this card is a money house, but it's also about dealing with other people's resources, handling other people's resources. So this could be a profession for you as well. So there's appreciation with this card. There's growth in reputation and career as well. And also it's about being in the spotlight in some way. So possibly in a business venture or something like that, you may be in the spotlight in some way. It's a very optimistic card. There's adventure in here. But there's also pride and honor and strength. Okay, so all of these come in with the Leo card. But it's a very warm and sort of happy card, in that it's filled with pleasurable activities, but also it's about honor and strength and pride. And you can go the other way and have too much pride as well, or arrogance. So just to bear all that in mind with this card. Then in the 9th house, we have lunar eclipse change. This is another one of the change cards, which I feel is stemming from this inner work that you're doing. So the 9th house is a broad house, but it's about adventure and exploration, but it's also about international travel, or all things international. So you could be relocating, or you could be having to deal with something, perhaps a family that you've left and you now live overseas, and your family in a different country. It's something to do with that, or issues to do with that. Or it could be a business thing, import, export. There are legal sides to the 9th house because it rules the law and the higher courts. That could be coming in for you. Perhaps you're waiting on the outcome of something. It's also about higher learning. It's about university education and adult education. So you could be a young person contemplating your university education, which course you're going to pick, where you're going to go, which institution, and so on. It's also about religion, philosophy, and belief systems. It falls under the 9th house. So all aspects of that may be appropriate for you. Maybe you're studying that, or you're involved in it. It's part of your profession. The 9th house also covers things like working with publishing or public promotions, anything like that, public relations. It's also the house of teaching. So whether you're teaching or you're being taught, and it's also the house of sort of the search for meaning, gaining of wisdom and faith in that. So seeking truth, all of these things all come into the 9th house. So with this card coming in, there is going to be a change coming in. It's a big change. There's an upheaval here. So it could be something that is bubbling over. So you were kind of aware of it, but you couldn't address it, or it never got addressed because not all the factors were known or something, but it was there. You kind of had an inkling, and you were busy trying to gather all the elements of it together, and suddenly, wham, now it's bubbling over and it's got to be dealt with. So this is something that is very unexpectedly, the speed of it comes at you, and you've got to deal with it. You're also going to be seeing the light in some way. So this is shining the light on something that perhaps wasn't known to you before. You're now seeing something very clearly. But there will be sort of turmoil and upheaval until you get the hang of things. But it's an essential and it's an inevitable change that's coming in for you. There are cycles involved because it's to do with the moon. Normally with this card, once the upheaval has occurred, it normally resolves within 6 weeks, or it could unfold over a 6-month period. So something that if you lose something in this house, it probably will return at a later date, but it will be better. out. Okay, so you've got to let that cycle play out. Something familiar falls away to bring the new in. So that's that familiarity leaving you now, and that's where that sort of very uncomfortable feeling comes in, where you just don't know what's going on. There's an upheaval. The familiar falls away, but it does that in order to bring the new in. It could also be a brand new perspective that you're having on something in this house. As I said, travel or relocation could be coming in for you. So you could be traveling to deal with issues, or you could be traveling to explore, to live, as a relocation, or you could be traveling to study. But normally this house is about international. This is long distance travel. This house is also, this card is also about memories. So as I said, if this is to do with you having to return home or to go somewhere to deal with a legacy or an inheritance or something like that, you could be dealing with a lot of memories around this, because the moon stores a lot of that. It could also be a legal issue that's coming up for you, or a change in direction after an ending. Then in the 10th house, we have Grand Trine blessings. So your 10th house is the house of career, reputation, your fame, and your public status. It's also the house of authority figures of all kinds. So whether this is somebody in your home, or it could be a boss, or it could just be somebody that you look up to in your life. Or it could be an authority of some kind, whether that's the law, the military, or the police, something like that. So with Grand Trine blessings, nice card coming in for you here. So from this perspective, there's going to be harmony to do with this house. So there's going to be good flow. If you have been facing blocks, they will be lifted now. But with this card, you do still need to keep steering for what it is that you want. You must keep working at your goals, and you're going to have to apply, considerable effort to bring the energy of this card home, because otherwise it will just rise up and then it will be gone. It kind of will flow away from you. So you still need to really work at it to ground the benefits of this card. You need to be consistent about what it is that you want. You need to follow all opportunities that flow in with this card. Follow them all, try them all. Not all of them will fit you, but somewhere in there will be something which is right for you. You need to finish what you start as well. This card is about having a lucky break or being lucky. It's also, your popularity may be good at this time. You could also be using your artistic talents, because that comes in with this. So just see how it plays out for you, maybe using all of those in this house. But it brings in blessings. It's about trust as well, and it's also about completion. So you could be completing something now and then moving on into newer ground at some point. And you're just going with this flow right now. This card can also, because of the watery nature of it, it can also bring in feelings of avoidance or unrealistic expectations. So just be aware of that at this time. Then in the 11th house, we have Sagittarius IC. So the 11th house is your house of friendships. It's also the house of contacts and networks, and groups of all kinds, whether it's a club, society, association, could even be a sports group. It's also the house of your personal hopes and dreams, your wishes, and your own personal hobbies and interests. It's also the house of futuristic visions, whether these are for yourself or whether you're getting glimpses of this. Okay, so with the Sagittarius card, I see this is bringing in exploration of the mind, or even physical aspects as well. So it really is whether it's you're using your mind to explore, or whether it's a physical thing, but it's exploration. Vision comes into this. Also lucky breaks. You may just be feeling quite restless at this time in this house, and if you are feeling like that, more than likely what it is indicating to you that you need to change up your routines, because Sagittarians don't generally like routine. They prefer professions which allow them a lot of freedom. So it could be that you are, sort of going to the same things, doing the same things, and perhaps it's a group, or if you've got friendships there where you tend to go and do things with, change things up, change your routines, change where you go, what you do, what activities you undertake. So just change it up in general to give yourself more freedom. Outdoors come into this. Travel is also indicated with this card, so you could be going various places, whether this is looking at places to study like university education, or whether it's to do with religious places of religious study, or places that are of religious significance, going to visit those. But it's expansion of the mind, expansion in general. It could also be that you have favorable conditions at this time. So if you're wanting to join a group, or you're wanting to change something up, or you're wanting to, make a suggestion to your friendship group about something, favorable conditions come in with this card. It's quite a social card. It also covers large animals. So you may be involved in some sort of group activity around horses or dogs, big dogs, or something like that, or big animals of some kind. It maybe that is coming out for you. It also covers being honest. Sagittarians can sometimes put their foot in their mouth. They say something out of turn, or it's a completely tactless remark. So just be aware of that. But it is also about being honest. And you may have to do that with a friendship or something, or in a group situation. This house also covers global consciousness and group consciousness, or social reform and causes. So, with the Sagittarius I see coming in, you may, it's about trends in society, tracking those, and it may be even a profession for you. So with Sagittarius, because it has a sort of quite a high profile, they like to get out, they like to be adventurous, they like to try new things, they like to be social. You could be getting caught up in that in some way, or enjoying tracking that, and enjoying a lot of social interactivity with that, or with your friendships and so on. Then this is the last of the transformative cards in your chart. So now, because this is the 12th house, this is your unconscious, everything to do with your unconscious self. So the changes that are occurring in this house are going to drive your first house, which is the house of self, and it's going to drive your expression, which is your third house, but it's going to drive what goes on in your home and your family as well. And it's possibly going to affect your relationships, your committed relationship, but certainly your 9th house, which is the house of international travel, all kinds of mind and exploration, learning, and the courts, even higher courts, but any kind of foreign interaction, anything foreign, whether it's a culture or a person or a place. And it's, as I said, further education and study, all religion, belief systems, philosophy, anything like that, promotional work, teaching and publishing and so on. So somewhere along the line, this is going to drive all of this. So whether this is the thing that drives all of this, or something occurs and then it drives these internal and external changes that are going on, you'll have to just see how it plays out. As I said, it could be very well to do with a family member. Something is changing and shifting to do with them, and it affects your home life, it affects your finances, it affects your perhaps you're going to travel to sort it out, or you're dealing with it in the higher courts. Something is driven here. So with South Node life states falling in your 12th house. 12th house is the house of your unconscious, all your motivations and drives. This is underneath the surface. It's also the house of retreat and withdrawal. So the 12th house is where you go when you need to retreat, or we need to do a lot of deep self-analysis. It's a solitude and reflection. It's also the house of your spiritual life, your meditation, mysticism and healing, and all of those issues around that, and your spirituality. It's also the house of unconscious, your selfless service to others, which could be a profession for you. So these tend to be caring professions where you care for others in some way. and it's selfless service. It's also the house of escapism. So there's nothing wrong with having an escape route or doing activities which allow you to escape from mundane things and have a break, and contact the divine in your spiritual life and so on. But when you start doing too much escapism, then it can lead to addictions of all kinds. So it is possible that, perhaps you are also, because of your health, you are also tackling some kind of issue to do with your health. Perhaps there's an addiction of some kind which you're now getting the energy to deal with, and that is going to change a lot of things for you. So just see how that plays for you. It's also the house of karmic lessons coming in, which is a double whammy because this card is about karmic lessons. It's also the house of meeting twin flames. So whether you meet a twin flame, that will have to be up to you to decide, but it could be very well a significant other which came up in your 7th house. So yeah, just be aware of that. With this card coming in, it's about what it's saying to you is that some emotional baggage needs to be dropped. All right, this is deep old stuff that needs to go now. So and the growth phase around that is quite painful, but you, through that pain, you will grow and you will be able to ascend to sort of higher levels, if you want to call it that. But the old stuff's got to go. So endings and beginnings come in with this card. Some old and familiar things fall away, or something old and familiar that you've got used to will fall away, to make way for the new. Which came up in your 9th house as well. This is about moving on in some way. It's a turning point of some kind. So it will be a bit of a jolt for you. Something, a door closes for you. But whatever comes in, whatever changes and shifts come in for you, or whatever new feelings you're suddenly feeling or you're now being exposed to, you must maximize all advantages and opportunities that appear for you at this time. Because what this card is doing is allowing you to get in a position where you can let go of the past and old things and move forward into your future. But this is the doorway, you're standing before the doorway. Before you go through the doorway, this is what's got to be done beforehand. So maximize all advantages and opportunities which may come up at this time, however painful or difficult they may seem at the time. But it's also a time to meet your soul tribe, which came up in your 3rd house, your house of communication. So your soul tribe are people that you resonate with, people that you have a deep connection with. You have something deeply familiar. There's something deeply familiar about them, and when you interact with them, you have an instant connection. So this is your soul tribe, people that are coming in to assist you or be with you during certain phases of your life. And those are good contacts to keep and to harness at this time. Okay, Pisces, have a wonderful month. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe, and take care, and I will see you next time.